Last time we met, I gave you the Currah microsource for the ZX Spectrum, which was essentially just one huge lost opportunity, both in features as well as performance.
How dare you! You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
So, was this the last time people tried to mix Fort and BASIC? No. It's known that Chuck Moore created the BASIC compiler in just 8 screens of Fort. I suppose you could do a little Fort while writing a BASIC program, but note, Chuck was not a fan of that idea. It's easy to implement BASIC in Fort, he stated, so why would you use BASIC when you got Fort? Because given the right BASIC, it's just as easy to implement Fort. As a matter of fact, all you need is a user stack. And a few commands like push and pop. You see, uBasic Fort is a capable 1K-log BASIC interpreter that comes free with Fort, which is also free, because it's open source. But of course it didn't start as a full-fledged BASIC interpreter. So at one point in time I wanted a mechanism to pass values from one subroutine to another, and a stack seemed like a solid idea. I mean, you could even do recursion with it. And that was not the only Fort concept that was added, which in the end made it very easy to use Fort-like constructions. I mean, these trigonometric functions are almost complete Fort translations, don't you think? A few years ago I made a video ranting about a guy who had claimed he had made an entirely new computer language, which in the end was just a fancy preprocessor, and not on my watch party. In order to prove my point, I made a small uBasic Fort program that translated some obscure esoteric language to uBasic Fort. Later I learned that this source-to-source conversion had an actual name, transpiling, and the program that did it was called a transpiler. So I'd written a transpiler. Good to know, something new to add to my resume. Now it was time to put the whole shebang together and make another transpiler, one that could transpile Fort to uBasic Fort and create something that the microsource had intended to be. A Fort that could not just be embedded in BASIC but completely integrated into it. It started out as a simple proof of concept, so I used uBasic Fort to create the transpiler. 300 lines later I was done. Just in time because I was unable to cram more functionality into the little program. The entire transpilation procedure looked sufficiently dramatic, so I decided to call it a day. Now, what did it actually generate? It's still BASIC. It just looks weird. Once freed from its RAM cocoon, it is skipped by an if statement that always renders false, kind of like 40H. It's like a head works the same way. Then we got the label. The only thing added here is a leading underscore, which makes it a uBasic Fort label. And finally we see a series of stack instructions and procedure calls topped off by a return instruction. Everything the transpiler doesn't recognize and isn't a number or a variable becomes a procedure call. Very simple. And 20 supporting one-liners finish up the transpiled program. Done. I think it's amazing it works at all. I mean, most of it is just a verbatim copy of the original Fort source. Even the Currah microsource example is largely intact, churning out uppercase strings like there's no tomorrow. I think it embodies perfectly of what the microsource should have been. And now for the $64,000 question. What is it good for? That's fairly easy to answer. Absolutely nothing. Where the Currah microsource was at least 3 times faster than ZX Basic, this Fort translation is 3 times slower than using its native BASIC constructs. But apart from a return stack, it's got about everything the microsource was lacking. You can use all kinds of commands, everywhere. You got execute, exit, leave, unloop, depth, all the little friends you were so dearly missing. You can share all variables with your beloved BASIC. You can call Fort from BASIC and BASIC from Fort. You can even mix both languages. So, what's there not to love, apart from the fact that the entire thing is just a gimmick? I don't deny it, it's pretty useless, unless you feel an irresistible urge to do Fort while you're writing uBasic Fort program, or to experience for yourself what the Currah microsource could have been, if implemented correctly. Which was why I built it in the first place, as a proof of concept, and as a bit of fun. Which is alright, nobody's judging, this is supposed to be fun. And ending on that positive note, I'm Hans Beesmer, and this was Back and Forth.